the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to an emergency episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Josh All coming to you here today with a quick update. Obviously, had to jump in here and talk about the news that dropped this morning. We knew it was coming. There had been so many reports and just so much smoke over the last couple weeks about the Browns head coaching position. Kevin Stefanski has officially been fired after 6 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. So let's talk about it. That's what we're here to do today. We just had our recap episode last night where we spent a ton of time talking about whether or not the Browns will or should fire Kevin Stefanski. So if you want to hear those conversations, go back and watch last night's episode after the Bengals win. But here we are. Today, the decision has been made. We knew Black Monday would be the day that we find out the future for Kevin Stefanski and honestly Andrew Berry as well. We're going to talk about him alongside this whole Kevin Stefanski news because the two came in hand and now they are parting ways. But the situation surrounding the team is still very much both of their responsibilities. So before I dive into some of this information and my opinion on everything, make sure you guys head to jointhedawgs.com. If you want to be part of our official Dog Pack community, join the Patreon over there, sync up with the private Discord. That thing has been popping off like crazy today. This is the time where the Dog Pack is like a must be for diehard Browns fans because the conversations in there today have been just going crazy. And we're going to have this type of stuff happening the entire offseason because now we have a head coaching search. Now we need to be talking about candidates and who the Browns should be looking at to replace Stefanski and who can fix this mess and all that kind of stuff. We got the draft, we got prospects, we got free agency. We have all this stuff coming down the road here really quickly, honestly. So jointhedawgs.com if you want to be part of those conversations every day. Plus, we do the Dog Pack Discord episodes live once a week in there every week. So as now that the season is over and it's not Thursday preview shows, the schedule will probably vary based on work schedules and things like that for each week. But we'll let you guys know ahead of time which day that will be each week. Okay. Well, let's talk about this. So Kevin Stefanski, 6 years with the Browns. Let's just go through the numbers. Yeah, let's see. 2020, the inaugural year of the Stefanski and Andrew Berry era, came in during COVID, if you guys remember, the COVID insanity. Nobody was allowed to, basically you weren't even allowed to look at another human being, let alone get anywhere close to him. So the Browns had to conduct everything via Zoom, virtual meetings, and all that kind of stuff. You got your whole roster that was just here from, the Hugh Jackson and Greg Williams debacle those years, and then you come in with Freddie Kitchens after that. And now you're getting this new head coach, Kevin Stefanski. Everybody's meeting him. He's meeting all the players over the computer and all this stuff. And it was just a really questionable time to be bringing in a new head coach as far as how is this going to work? Can this work? You can't even meet your players face-to-face in person until I don't even know when they were allowed to get together. And somehow made it work. Got everybody in a cohesive manner, brought the team together. That was the last year in the NFL, by the way, that it was a 16-game season in 2020. So that was an 11-5 record that he took the Browns to the playoffs. If you guys remember, man, that season finale, that playoff win against the Steelers. That's right, Steelers, suck it. You guys still suck. We beat the Steelers at home to clinch a playoff spot, a wild card spot, to go to Pittsburgh the following week and play the Steelers again in their house, and we whooped them there. And that's why the Browns have the more recent playoff win than the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, by the way, did manage to squeak out a win last night against the Ravens. The Ravens missed a last-second walk-off field goal that would have sent them to the playoffs a week from tonight playing the Houston Texans, but instead it will be the Pittsburgh Steelers skating by the skin of their booties to play the Houston Texans. And I said it before, and I'll say it now again. Doesn't matter who's winning the AFC North, Steelers, Ravens, either way, they will be a first-round exit. But getting back to the 2020 season, that was phenomenal. We got our only playoff win in modern history since 1999. We didn't win a playoff game back in 2002, right? So this was extraordinary. We've been waiting years for this, and it was like, hey, we've got something here. We finally have it. We got our quarterback. We got Baker Mayfield. We've got Jarvis Landry. Got Odell, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. We got a team. David Njoku, Joel Bitonio. We've got a team. We got a team. Then 2021 comes around, the first 17 game season in the NFL, and the Browns fall to 8-9. Just not great. Obviously, that was the year that Baker injured his shoulder in, week 2 or 3, and was just hurt all year. Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, you guys just lived it. This year, what we lived in 2021 after the Baker Mayfield injury, that's essentially what you guys got to deal with this year. It happened again. Hurt his left shoulder, struggled, at the beginning of the year, MVP talks like he was playing so great and everything, and it didn't end so well. Now the Panthers are going to the playoffs as an 8-9 team. The Browns were 8-9 in 2021, and now you got an NFC South division winner at 8-9. I saw somebody post on Twitter the other day that it doesn't matter if you win your division. If you are below 500, you should not make the playoffs. The only way a below 500 team should make the playoffs is if there's not 7 teams in the conference over 500. If the wild card spots, that everything should go to teams that actually had winning records. I thought that was interesting because it is kind of bogus that the Carolina Panthers can go 8-9 and make the playoffs, but discussion for another day. So then obviously the Browns say, see you later, Baker Mayfield. This isn't working out anymore. We're going all in on Deshaun Watson in 2022. That was the worst move they've ever made. And obviously now today you got information coming. I swear the dirty laundry is going to come to air so fast, I feel like, after this firing, because already it was Pete Prisco on CBS Sports said that from what he was told, Kevin Stefanski did not want that trade made for Deshaun Watson. So here we go. We got information leaking out all over the place. Kevin Stefanski not bought into the Deshaun Watson trade. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on. You can read between the lines, like all the reports that, Kevin Stefanski could get traded to a new team or whatever. Like, there's stuff that his agent and the team is putting out there to boost up his stock to get him that next job. Obviously, there's stakes to be had for all these people in him having a job. The agent doesn't get paid if Kevin Stefanski doesn't have a job, all that kind of stuff. I saw this posted too. I would definitely be out there saying I didn't want that trade as well, just to try to make myself look a little bit better for my next job interview. But who knows? Maybe this is all true. You got to put some stock into these reports, at least from what we saw in the field, because it never looked like Kevin Stefanski was comfortable coaching Deshaun Watson, running the offense with Deshaun Watson. Never looked like Deshaun Watson wanted to be in his offense or cared about his offense. We had those reports at the end of last season. If you guys remember, was it Jason Lloyd? I forget. Published an article like from players were telling him certain things. It was like, now we're starting to get some leaks out of the locker room. Stefanski would never hold Deshaun Watson accountable during film meetings in front of the team. Wouldn't coach him up in front of the team. Never criticized him and things like that. Just all this kind of stuff. Like, that move derailed anything positive the Browns had going for them when this new regime took over in 2020. So that's 2020. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's out for 11 games. He comes back. It's like, holy crap, he's not that great, but it's rust. So the Browns go 7-10, turn around in 2023, and hey, things are looking up. Yeah, Deshaun Watson got hurt and everything, but the Browns were able to put everything together down the stretch and go 11-6 and clinch the playoffs, which is why I'm wearing this shirt. This was our like motto theme shirt for the 2023 season, because it was every single post-game victory speech that Kevin Stefanski did had the line, whatever it effing takes. That was the motto for that year, when they were just scraping by, putting wins together when they really shouldn't have been after Joe Flacco got here to really save our tails. And so I wanted to wear this one last time in honor of that season. And, before I go on here, I wanted Kevin Stefanski to get fired. If you guys watched the show all season, I wanted to clean house. I wanted Andrew Berry to get fired too. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I was ready for a new regime, ready for new voices, ready for new direction. Whatever we're doing right now just ain't working. But it doesn't mean, and I've said this plenty of times, it doesn't mean I don't like Kevin. I do. I like Kevin. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good coach. I think his offense has flaws. I think it has been figured out. I think he is stubborn. I think he refuses to change the way he does things. And I'm not saying this is like an indictment on him or anything like that. This is just how a lot of coaches are. You think about it. There are a lot of coaches that will take a reclamation project because they say, I can fix this guy. I can make that work. It's all about ego. It's all about ego. And Kevin Stefanski has an ego too. He does. You're crazy if you don't think he does. And this is my offense. This is my offense. I can make this work. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to. It got figured out. Talked to Jake Burns from Browns Film Breakdown about this stuff a while ago. Defenses, we talk about this all the time. The Houston Texans playoff game back in 2023 where we got absolutely whooped on because the Texans defensive players were calling out our offensive plays before they happened based on our alignment and everything. They knew what we were running. There's no mystery in our offense. And it's just time for a change. It's time to get something new, something more innovative in here. And, again, even if we get a head coach in here next year who brings in an offense, or say we get a defensive coach and we get an OC that brings in an offense, and it works and it's wildly successful, I'll still be pumping the brakes because we need to see consistency. I think this is what happened with Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland. Came in 2020 with his offense, with his scheme. He had the right pieces, the right players to execute that scheme. We talked about this a lot too. Also had a favorable schedule over the back half of the season to help get you those wins. And it all worked. But ever since then, it's like teams have just figured this out. And we're stoppable. We're completely stoppable. And that rolled into last year, 2024. We know the story. Fired Alex Van Pelt after, we questioned this. I know a lot of people questioned the moves before last season ahead of 2024 when the Browns are coming off an 11-6 season with 5 starting quarterbacks. They make the playoffs and they fired pretty much their entire offensive staff, except for Chad O'Shea, by the way, which, we haven't really gotten any confirmation as far as which coaches are officially fired along with Kevin Stefanski yet, unless I've missed that report since I started recording this, but he is the one who has been fired. We don't really know the fates of all the other coaches yet. Chad O'Shea better be nowhere near this team, nowhere near this organization moving forward. I want nothing to do with people like Chad O'Shea, who, if you're not familiar with the name, wide receivers coach, and I believe passing game coordinator for the Browns the last 6 years. And what has been the weakest part of our offense for the last 6 years? The wide receiver group and the freaking passing game. Get him out of here. Get him out. Get Bubba Ventrone, the special teams coordinator, out of here. The only one that I'm even remotely interested in keeping around is Jim Schwartz. That'll be a conversation for another day, whether the Browns should consider him for a head coaching position. Blake does not think so. I'm a little more gray area on Jim Schwartz right now because I kind of could see the benefit of hiring him as the head coach. Again, we'll talk about that another time. Today is more just let's focus on the history with Stefanski and Berry and, what could be the future moving forward for this team. This episode is sponsored by ButcherBox. Browns fans, I hope you didn't miss out on the Christmas promotion from ButcherBox, but if you did, I have great news. The promo is still running this week. Head to ButcherBox.com right now and new members will receive your choice between free New York strip, ribeye, or filet mignon in every single box for an entire year. Plus, you get an extra $20 off with promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, at checkout. Just head over to ButcherBox.com, choose your box and your delivery frequency. With the custom classic box, you get exactly what you and your family love. Choose from over 80 products, including meat and seafood. Plus, you can manage your entire subscription online, and you can change your box type, your product selections, your frequency, or your delivery date at any time. Shipping is always free. Deliveries come straight to your door on your schedule, and you can cancel anytime. Every meal is easier when your freezer is stocked with high-quality meat and seafood from ButcherBox. That's ButcherBox.com. Right now, get your choice between free New York strip, ribeye, or filet mignon in every box for an entire year, plus $20 off with promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out. The fact that after 2023, they fired pretty much everybody, again, other than Chad O'Shea. They got rid of Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator. They got rid of Stump Mitchell, the running backs coach, who he went on like a media tour bitching and moaning about the team and airing some dirty laundry and stuff. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. And we also have more dirty laundry aired today, which I'll get to. That was interesting. Anyhow, so Alex Van Pelt gone, offensive roster or staff pretty much turned over for the most part. 2024, you bring in Ken Dorsey as the offensive coordinator. Whew, just terrible. Just an absolutely terrible move. The Browns go 3-14. They retain everybody, obviously, except for Dorsey. They promote tight end coach Tommy Rees to the offensive coordinator position, and we just finished 5-12. So that's 8-26 over the last 2 seasons, just not going to cut it. And I mean, really, when you just look at the history of it all, Kevin Stefanski, overall 101 games coached in Cleveland over 6 seasons. He had a 45-56 record. That's a 4.46 win percentage. I can go through the offensive ranks here too in a minute. I do want to talk about that. I know I've done it before, but I'm going to do it again because I think it's important to rehash that. But in all reality, we're talking about 2 winning seasons in 6 years. And Jimmy Haslam said this in his press conference today, just not consistent enough. It's not consistent enough. He was talking about basically bouncing around on the record each year. Like 2020, you go and you have a winning record. You go to the playoffs, and 21, 22, losing seasons. And then bam, 23, we're back to winning and it's back to the playoffs. And then 24, 25, we're bottom of the league. And we just cannot have that. He said the fans deserve better, and they plan to put a better product on the field. We'll see. I'm very skeptical about Andrew Berry retaining his position as the GM, considering the garbage we've watched the last 2 years on offense was built by Andrew Berry. And the Deshaun Watson debacle was facilitated by Andrew Berry. And while I don't agree that Andrew Berry should still be here, I understand the reasons for it. I understand that the cap situation. And I said this to a guy on Twitter today. Andrew Berry is very smart. He is a very smart guy. He built in his own job security into the cap. He came in here in 2020, got control of the cap, and said, not only am I going to manipulate this thing, which I'm not saying he's done a bad job. He's actually done a fantastic job manipulating the cap. Not very many general managers, in my opinion, could give Deshaun Watson the contract and, allocate the cap space each year to that position, only to have it tank and yet still be able to sign meaningful free agents and extend every single player the team wanted to extend in that time frame. That's a hats off to Andrew Berry for his cap management. Like I said, he also built in his own job security with the way he has structured these contracts. So I understand keeping Andrew Berry. Did he have a fantastic 2025 draft? Yes. Yes, he did. Were his 5 drafts prior to that not so great? Yeah, they really weren't. Did he not have 3 first-round picks to work with for 3 years? That's true. It was also his doing. I love it. I love it when people try to make the excuse for Andrew Berry, like, well, he didn't have 3 first-round picks to work with for a while there. That was his call. He made that decision. That was his call. I'm not going to use the dude's mistake as an excuse for his mistake. Like, He's the one who did that. So I think we all need to just be realistic about the situation. But I understand it. They're moving forward. And like I've said multiple times today, his seat better be the hottest freaking seat anybody has ever sat on moving forward. Because I'm telling you right now, you get 2026, Andrew Berry. I am watching. You're under a microscope. This podcast, the Browns organization better have the same mindset. Don't F this up. You better fix this. You better fix this, and you're getting one shot, because I just fired and Blake is not on board with firing Kevin Stefanski. I know he said in multiple episodes here recently, like he understands if they do. We've been texting back and forth today. He's still very not on board with this firing, and I'll give it to him. Obviously, Stefanski's been the best head coach that we have had since 1999. Since the Browns returned to the NFL, Kevin Stefanski is the best coach. He's brought us the most success that we have had since that time. Now, I agree with the Haslams. It's not good enough. I'm not satisfied. I'm not content. I'm not good with it. And I appreciate everything Kevin did here. And honestly, I hope he has success wherever he goes after this. I do, because I like him. I've said I like Kevin Stefanski. But if he goes somewhere and has success, takes another team to the playoffs in the next year or two, I know people are going to freak out and, oh, the Browns are such a clown show and all this stuff. Guys, it wasn't happening here. It wasn't going to happen here. It's kind of like the whole Baker Mayfield situation. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers win a game. Baker Mayfield throws 3 touchdowns and the Browns are idiots. I don't think it was happening here. Baker even said that himself. He kind of had to hit rock bottom to get where he is now. Things happen for a reason. You can't just copy and paste somebody's success on another team and say, that would happen here. Not the case. Just because if Kevin goes and wins somewhere else doesn't mean it was ever going to be happening here again, because, history shows it hasn't happened here. 4 losing seasons out of 6, 2023. I've said this before. I know I get a lot of pushback from people, but 2023 was on track to be another losing season. And Blake can argue with me all he wants, but I stand with it. Joe Flacco came in here, saved everybody's hind ends that year. That's the way I see it. So, here we are. Kevin's done. AB's here, leading the head coaching search. Who's out there? I see that one a lot. Well, who are they going to get? Who's going to replace him? There's quite a few candidates. I have not compiled a list. I have not put anything together. I'm not going off any notes right now. I'm just talking to you guys about the situation and how I'm feeling. And I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Send me some voicemails. I got a couple to play here today at the end of the show. And we'll go from there. But I've been reading the last couple of days about Grant Odinsky, is the offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not saying he's at the top of my head coach, candidate list, but I like what I've been reading about him. He was the assistant to the head coach. He was a Dwight to Michael Scott in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell for a year or two. And what I liked about the history of Odinsky's coaching career was how quickly and expedited his escalation through the ranks went. Like he got promoted quickly under KOC in the Minnesota Vikings. And again, I don't have all this pulled up to make sure I'm factually correct, but I'm pretty sure he went from assistant to the head coach to assistant quarterback coach to assistant quarterback coach and assistant offensive coordinator to offensive coordinator to now offensive coordinator hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the guy he's young, but if you go back and you look at the years where he was there and you think about the quarterbacks, he was the assistant quarterback coach and all this stuff. He worked with these guys, the Sam Darnold year last year, the Trevor Lawrence year this year with Jacksonville. I'm very intrigued by Grant Odinsky, if I'm even saying it right, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But again, that's a guy that until they lose and they're out of the playoffs, he's off limits. We can't really talk to him. There's some other people, obviously names floated around. You got guys like Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Bills. You've got We've already mentioned, I mean, Jim Schwartz could be a candidate. I mean, people have thrown around about Brian Flores, the DC for the Vikings. You've got Chris Shula, the defensive coordinator out in LA for the Rams. That's another interesting name, defensive-minded head coach. But again, I'm not opposed. I'm trying to keep my mind open to all possibilities here. It's Jeff Hafley. Is that his name? Jeff Hafley? The DC up in Green Bay, I think, is gaining some, traction for head coaching interviews and things like that. There's Jesse Minter, I think the guy's name is. There's all kinds of names out there. And I think it's just important to have an open mind that, before Kevin Stefanski came here to be the head coach of the Browns, he was just a one-year offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Before that, he was, what was he? Was he the assistant quarterback coach or something for them too? I can't even remember exactly. But, he was sort of, obviously people knew of him, but he was an unknown commodity at the time. And you just got to take a chance on people when you interview them and feel like they're the right fit and give it a shot. So that's what the Browns are heading towards. So if we want to just look at, I'll pull this up real quick, the offensive ranks for the Browns under Kevin Stefanski have not been good. And that's another reason why I was out on him earlier this season, just saying it's time to move on, because you're an offensive head coach. You've had to turn over offensive play calling 2 years in a row now. Your offense has been one of the worst in the league. What are you really bringing to the team? That's been my thing. Like, what are you doing well over this 5-26 stretch where the offensive numbers have been the worst, some of the worst in the league. So when he first got here in 2020, the offense, let's go yards. Well, we'll just do it by year. I'm sorry. Back that up. 2020, we finished 14th in yards, 16th in yards, 14th in points. The following year, 2021, we fell to 18th in yards and 20th in points scored. 2022, back up to 14th in yards, but only 18th in points scored. 2023 was the best season under Kevin Stefanski for the offense. We were 16th in yards and 10th in points scored. So if anybody says, well, Kevin's, he had a top 10 offense here, not really. And in terms of yards per game, we were never top 10. The highest we ever were was 14 in the league. So you could say we had a top 15 offense in yards, but we've never been top 10, and we've only had a top 10 scoring offense once, and we were 10th in 2023. 2024, obviously terrible. We were 28th in yards and 32nd freaking dead last in points scored. And in this year, 2025, the Browns finished 30th in yards. That would be the third worst in the league. And we were 31st in points scored, second to last. So over the last 2 years, you had the worst scoring offense and the second worst scoring offense in the league. Again, go back to what I said earlier. Is this 100% on Kevin Stefanski? No, it's not. Got to be real about it. Part of it is. Absolutely. Part of it is. But there's a large part of this that's Andrew Berry building the worst offensive personnel grouping ever. Then you go to the debates of, well, how much of it was, certain personnel, and then the coaching staff not getting the most out of that personnel. I've seen a lot of people complaining about, Kevin Stefanski over the years, put too much faith in the wrong coaches on his staff, kept Joe Woods too long. I agree with that one. Wholeheartedly. Joe Woods should have been fired after the first year. If not that, then definitely after the second year, but we kept him a third year. Terrible decision making. Bubba Ventrone, not getting fired when the special teams unit is the worst in the league and it's costing you games. I'm sorry. I know Blake said only, dumpster fire teams fire coaches during the season. Who was it, the Rams? Didn't the Rams just a couple of weeks ago fire their special teams coordinator because they were giving up big plays on special teams? Pretty sure they're a playoff team and a Super Bowl favorite. Sometimes you just have to make those decisions when things aren't going right, and Kevin Stefanski would not hold anybody accountable. The last 2 wins over division rivals were great, but it doesn't change that fact that there was never accountability here. And the decision-making was always questionable. So let me know what you guys think. Are you on board with the firing? Are you upset about it? Do you think we should have kept him, maybe given him another year, given him some more pieces? Let me know what you guys think, but it doesn't change the fact that it is over. Those 6-year stint for Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland has come to an end. The Browns are moving forward with a head coaching search. If you've got candidates that you like, drop them in the comments. Let me know who I should be doing some research on to bring you updated information on this search in the coming weeks. Take a quick break, come back to some voicemails. This episode is sponsored by Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Miami beat Ole Miss? Will Indiana take down Oregon? Which team will win the Super Bowl? And who will be the first pick in the NFL draft? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $20 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs. That's KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, and trade $100. Get away from those disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to kalshi.com/dogs or click the link in the description to get $20 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. That's Kalshi, because why shouldn't you get paid for being right? All right, welcome back in. We got our first voicemail here. This one is from Nick.
Hey, guys, this is Big Nick from Memphis. And once again, hey, you guys have a wonderful podcast. You got a wonderful show. I want to give you guys shouts up. You guys are really middle of the road. You don't play favorites, play sides. You say what you got to say, and it's all good. But let's be realistic. You guys found your QB1 in the 5th round by accident, fell over him by mistake. Hey, he's the guy. Real talk. If you don't know what quarterback play looks like, he's the guy. Next, real talk is your defense is set. You got all the players you need. Now all you need to do is get your offensive line, get Jerry Jeudy, find him somewhere else to be other than on the field. Get you a #1 receiver that's going to fight for the ball, because the interception against Pittsburgh and Jerry Jeudy didn't even fight for the ball. He just like it was some thing that he'd never seen before. Is horrendous. He needs to be off the field. You need him. Judkins, Bond, Fannin, 84, who I can't think of his name right now, but I really believe them with a upper echelon receiver, whether you trade for one or whether you get one in the draft, you just need a #1, because the rest of your receiving core really has the potential to be great, but you got to have one lead, and he still needs his tight ends. And both tight ends being hurt is terrible for a rookie quarterback, and it's terrible for any quarterback.
Yeah, well, first of all, Nick, thank you for the compliments there at the top of your voicemail. But we agree. I agree. Shedeur Sanders seems like he's got what you're looking for, and he's worth giving an opportunity in 2026. Build around him, like you're saying here. We've 100% with you on the Jerry Jeudy stuff, man. We got to get an alpha #1 receiver in here. Somebody who will just fight for the freaking ball and be the throw it to me. Throw me the ball. I will make a play. And, we've got a lot of talk coming up here in this offseason and everything. As much as I like Mason Graham, I was thinking about this the other night, and I do. I think Mason Graham had a great rookie season. I think he's going to be a good player on our defense for a lot of years into the future. Man, it sure would have been nice to have Tedero McMillan on this offense. Would have been nice to have Ted McMillan, for sure. And then if you go and you look at everything, though, we did get the NFL's second. Is he second or third now? I can't remember. I think he's the second leading reception rookie, Harold Fannin Jr. So that's cool. That's great. We have got to get some offensive pieces in here for Shedeur. I 100% agree with you. And actually, Nick sent in a second voicemail, so let's listen to that one now.
My whole thing is I am willing to let you guys know in Cleveland, Eric Bieniemy is the guy for you guys. Real talk, he took Patrick Mahomes from nothing to something. He has the ability to coach players that are off schedule but are great in improv, and he puts in plays that players that can play off schedule can win with. And real talk, if you make him Eric Bieniemy either your OC or your HC, real talk, he has to be the ability to change Cleveland sports. And I hope right now, if they're getting rid of Kevin Stefanski, Eric Bieniemy should be the only coach that is on your radar. He should be the only one. There's nobody else. He's proven it. He's done it. He has Super Bowl rings, and we have seen how bad that Mahomes looks without Bieniemy. Those first 5-6 years with Bieniemy, these last 3 years, 4 years without Bieniemy are totally different. They are totally different. Go out and look at his stats, look at the numbers, look at his performances. He looks like a totally different player. And with that, he ended up getting himself hurt this year. So, I'm telling you, with a talent like Shador, with a coach that can adapt his offense to a player's strengths.
All right, well, first of all, I don't think Eric Bieniemy's departure from Kansas City caused Patrick Mahomes to get injured, but no, I'm just messing with you, man. I know that's not what you meant. No, the thing is, I know Blake said the other night about Eric Bieniemy, somebody in the chat mentioned his name, former offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you guys hadn't picked up on that or didn't know who he was. Yeah, he's a coach that I have not kept tabs on. I haven't kept up with him, especially since, he was up for some head coaching candidate interview, things like that over the last couple years and never got hired, just never really came to fruition. And he's a guy, though, when you mention about how the Chiefs offense has changed since he left their team and their organization, it's worth looking into. So I'm not going to just say no on Eric Bieniemy. I appreciate your voicemail. You've given me something to think about, and I'm going to look into the stats. I'll look into him, and we will make sure that he is at least included, whether we are in favor of or not in favor of Bieniemy moving forward. But I'll make sure he's included in our head coaching candidate episodes that I'm sure we'll be doing a ton of here in the next few weeks. So thank you for the voicemails, Nick. Always appreciate hearing from you guys. The next one is from our girl, Hannah.
What's up, Dog Pack? It's Hannah. I got to go to the game. I had to wait until today to send in my voicemail because I have no voice. I just want to say I'm so happy for Miles. Amazing to watch it in person. The crowd went absolutely wild. Even Bengals fans were going wild for him. Maybe not the ones that I was sitting next to. They were giving me shit the whole game. And they opened their mouth and said, well, I don't think he's going to get it. And boom, next play, he fucking got it. I ripped off my jacket. I had my jersey, my Myles Garrett jersey on. And I said, who the fuck wasn't going to get it? And I just went ballistic. My sister had to pull me back, and it was fucking elite. I'm so fucking pumped that he got it. I'm so happy it came with a win. I'm so glad the Bengals chose to go for two when they should have just kicked it. No, not that it really would have helped him, but my God, it was elite. I can't wait for Shador to have a full off season to really get himself together. Thank you guys so much. Can't wait to talk off-season stuff.
All right, Hannah, thank you for the voicemail. So awesome to hear the jubilation from Browns fans about Myles Garrett getting that sack record yesterday. Was awesome. So much fun. We talked about it forever last night on the show. Can't get enough of it, and we're going to enjoy that one for as long as we can. Kind of fitting that it came in the very final game of the season, and it's great that it came in a win over a division rival, little brother Cincinnati Bengals out there. I know Bengals fans hate everything to do with the Browns because you guys lose to us all the freaking time, and I know they came out today and said they're keeping their head coach and everybody intact. Good luck. Good luck. I've thought very little of Zach Taylor over the entire tenure he's been there, and I will continue to think very little of Zach Taylor. But Hannah, that was awesome. Thank you. And yes, I too am excited for Shador Sanders to get an entire offseason here to get ready for 2026. Let's hope that's the case because, again, with Kevin Stefanski being out, new coaching staff coming in, it does really put things up in the air for Shador's future. I think we all need to be realistic and understand that. A new coaching staff coming in may very well demand their own quarterback, the guy that they want in here to run the offense. that is a real thing that happens when coaching changes are made, especially since a new coaching staff comes in. They have no allegiance to any of the players that are currently on the team. Obviously, you've got allegiance to their contracts. You've got allegiance to Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and anybody in here that's got a big contract. You've got allegiance to the rookies who are on rookie deals and are going to be here, but you don't have allegiance to a 5th-round rookie quarterback that you have to play him. That is very true. So it's going to be interesting to see what the deal is with a new coaching staff. Are there stipulations? Do you have to keep Jim Schwartz as defensive coordinator if you want to take this job? Does Shedeur Sanders have to be your quarterback? Are you bringing in a new quarterback? Everything's going to change. I shouldn't say everything, but things are going to change with this team. The way it's run, the way it's looked upon, certain players, and changes are coming. So just be ready for whatever those may be and whatever they may bring. All right, Hannah, again, thank you. And this is the last one, right? Yep, last voicemail I got for today. This one is from Andrew.
What's up, guys? Hope you're all good. My name's Andrew and I'm from Newcastle, England. I apologise in advance if you can't understand anything I'm saying because of my accent, but here goes. I just want to comment on the firing of Stefanski. I feel that, he has every right to kind of feel that he's been screwed over, especially when you look at the quality of offensive players he's been given the past 2 seasons. It almost looks as if he's kind of been put forward as the sacrificial lamb for the team. I mean, I doubt even Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan could put together a competent offense with the offensive line and receivers that we currently have. I do get why Browns fans wanted him to be fired, but I don't understand how you could expect an offensive head coach to have success with Cam Robinson as your left tackle and Jerry Jeudy as your wide receiver 1. It just doesn't make any sense. Go Browns.
International voicemails. Something about it just gets me tingly, man. I love hearing from you guys, and I could understand you with your accent. So not a problem whatsoever, Andrew. Thank you for the voicemail. I mean, we talked about this last night again on the show. We agree with your sentiment overall that very difficult to expect much out of this offense with the personnel that was handed to the coaching staff. That's why I'm very skeptical on Andrew Berry and him continuing to be in charge of the roster building and all that kind of stuff, because what we got this year is what he built. Thank you, Mr. Berry. It was total garbage, at least on the offensive side of the ball. And yes, you got some really great young players in the draft last year, but you got 0 of them at the premium positions. You got no left tackle or right tackle. You had no tackles. Didn't invest anything in the offensive line. Your last offensive lineman pick was Zach Zinter, who was a freaking healthy scratch all year. Had to play backup guard and center yesterday when Luke Whippler, I still don't even know what happened to Luke Whippler. I haven't even looked it up because gosh darn this team, I'll tell you what. You didn't invest in any wide receivers. Like, we're good with rolling into a season with Jerry Jeudy as the only receiver of note on this team who's ever done anything whatsoever in the NFL. That's it. Everybody else is a rookie or a UDFA or a practice squad guy. Come on. The more I talk about it, the more I'm really pushing myself into not so okay that Andrew Berry's back. But anyway, that's the case, so I guess we just got to deal with it. But I do agree with you, Andrew. Like, the roster building, not good. Very difficult to expect anybody to succeed here. I guess for me, the thing is, even when we did have a good core of offensive players on this team, the offense, and I just went through the numbers before the break, the offensive numbers still weren't tops of the league. We still weren't running one of the best offenses in the league with Kevin Stefanski here, despite what some people may think. Just go look at the numbers. That is the truth. It is what it is. So again, thank you to everybody who sent in voicemails here for today. If you want to leave a voicemail to get on the show, go to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail, the drop-down menu, send in your message, or you can even type out a written message and send it to the email there. There's a little box there. All you got to do is type your message, hit send, boom, comes right to my email, and I read it on the show. So that's always something you can do as well if you don't want your voicemails on the show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here. We knew this was coming. We knew there was going to be a head coaching search. I was like 99% sure. I was honestly going to be pretty shocked if this wasn't going to be the case. I think as much as it was a firing of Kevin Stefanski, I would also be very surprised if this was not actually a very mutual parting of ways between the two parties. I do not think Kevin Stefanski wanted to continue coaching this team. I think he probably is ready for an opportunity somewhere else, change of scenery. We see how a change of scenery can be good for players. It can also be good for coaches. And now Kevin Stefanski is in that category, and the Browns are looking for a new coach. So let me know what you guys think. I do believe, as much as we would probably prefer an offensive-minded head coach, I do think we are probably going to be looking heavily, and this is just my initial opinions here on day one of the search. I don't even know if it's begun yet. We're probably going to be looking at a lot of defensive candidates because this job, in my view, would be more attractive to a defensive coordinator looking for a head coaching job. Because the defense is great. It really is. You've got Myles Garrett, you've got Denzel Ward and Grant Delpit and Carson Schlesinger and Mason Graham and Tyson Campbell and Alex Wright, and hopefully Devin Bush comes back. Hopefully JOK can play again. Like, the defense is very attractive. It's a very attractive position if you are a defensive guy and you're like, I can go win with that defense. You get these offensive-minded guys who think, I can go win with that offense. Ben Johnson going to Chicago. I can do this. Just get a good defensive coordinator in here, to help me out. Flip it on the other side, a defensive coordinator. I can go to Cleveland and win with that defense. Just give me a good offensive coordinator. So we'll see how it goes. That's the way I currently see it happening. That's why guys like Shula and Hafley and these defensive coordinator names get thrown around, and I'm like, okay, let's go down that route if we need to. It might be the best plan of attack for the Browns. But let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys tuning in, interacting with the show on social media, and sending in voicemails and everything. Like, you guys are the best. You guys are the best. You make this possible. Wouldn't be possible without you guys. So from my heart to you, love you guys. Love you guys. We're about to go into a very interesting offseason for the Cleveland Browns. Not like there's ever not one. It's always interesting, but just a little bit more interesting this time around. So, by the way, we got the 6th overall pick. If we didn't mention that last night, I can't remember. We are picking 6th in the NFL draft. So who do you guys want? Let me know in the comments. We'll see you guys here later this week. If you're in the Dog Pack community, stay tuned. I'll be letting you guys know which day we're planning to do the Dog Pack Discord live in there. And if you're not a part of that community, head to jointhedogs.com. Check it out. Again, it's only $5 a month for the lower tier. And, it's like I always say, you're donating a cup of coffee one time a month to this show to be part of that community. It's not a super big investment on your part, but collectively you guys help support this show and make it what it is. And I just cannot state enough how grateful we are for everybody. So jointhedogs.com. We'll talk to you guys here later this week. Into the offseason we go. No head coach in tow. Let's go Brownies.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Miami beat Ole Miss? Will Indiana take down Oregon? Which team will win the Super Bowl? And who will be the first pick in the NFL draft? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $20 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs. That's KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, and trade $100. Get away from those disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to kalshi.com/dogs or click the link in the description to get $20 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. That's Kalshi.